Hey everyone, Sergio here with the Rideshare Guy. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Wheel. Today I'm joined by Crystal from Ann Arbor, Michigan, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, Crystal, I think is maybe fourth or fifth female driver that I've interviewed. I want to actually interview more female drivers because I know probably about 25% of the driver community is female. And I want to, present you guys with their side of the gig economy and their perspective. So, welcome, Crystal. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Well, again, I'm Crystal from Ann Arbor, Michigan. I have been driving for almost 4 years now. I started during the pandemic. I was
Mhm.
a work from home accountant. So that's what I did in my prior time. And I found that I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed what I was doing. I liked the flexibility. And so that's what's kept me doing this and in the business.
Yeah, for 4 years. Well, I can call you a veteran. So, Ann Arbor, Michigan, what size city are we talking here? Is it a mid-sized city, you would call it?
I would say it's mid-size. So we have the University of Michigan, which I
Yeah.
think keeps us, really going. And then a city right next to us is Ypsilanti, which has Eastern Michigan University, which is a smaller college. But having both of those schools, I think, really make it a very lucrative place to be an Uber driver.
Yeah. So do you drive for both platforms or just Uber?
So I was just doing Uber, and then I had an incident. So I
Mm.
had someone report me as being intoxicated. And so,
Mm.
they immediately shut down your account, and I was floored, shocked, panicked because I was like, this is my income now. What do I do? So I immediately signed up for Lyft. And that was probably, I signed up probably a year and a half ago, but I didn't actually utilize Lyft till last April.
Okay.
So I have, I think a little over 4,400 rides with Uber and 350 with Lyft.
Okay. So it seems like most people in your city, like in many other cities, it's about 75-25 between Uber and Lyft. Obviously, Uber has the larger marketplace and, they're busier, but Lyft has been coming up. So I would urge you to give Lyft a little bit more of a chance because what Lyft is doing now is the more you drive for them, the more incentives they're sending you. So, which I think it should be that way. So I'm assuming you're a full-time driver?
Yes, about almost 2 years ago, I decided to just take a leap of faith. I was kind of tired of my 9 to 5. And as an accountant, you have month end, year end, you have times when you're working, over 50 hours, and it just, you're not getting paid anymore. I was a salaried employee. So,
Okay.
yeah, I've been doing it full time for about 2 years. And I absolutely love the flexibility. Obviously, like most drivers, there are annoyances. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell you that it's all, roses and sunshine because it's not. But the benefits for me, at least, outweigh the difficulties or the annoyances.
I mean, in our community, we do have professionals like yourself, prior life, let's say.
Right.
They were either W-2s or they may be independent contractors, but accountants and lawyers. I mean, look, I think, there's a stigma about he's just an Uber driver. No, Uber, there are some really, really intelligent and professional people doing Uber because they love what they're doing. I know you just switched cars, so give me the background about that
Hmm.
with your car and why did you decide to switch cars?
Sure. So a little bit about my background. So in addition to being an accountant, I have some rental houses, and then I also dip my toe in Turo, the rental car business.
Okay.
But when I started, I just started using my 2018 Hyundai Tucson. It was a car I already had, and my other cars were being used for Turo. So, and I love my Hyundai. It gets great gas mileage, and the maintenance has been fairly low. So I've really enjoyed it. But I put 75,000 miles on my car last year. So, and I'd already used it, like personally. So I stopped using it last week and purchased at 238,000 miles, by the way. Like I put 238,000 miles on that vehicle before I decided, like, okay, the maintenance is getting more than it makes sense to be putting money into that car. So last week I purchased a 22 Ford Edge.
Hmm.
And the reason I wanted leather because obviously spills in my Hyundai. It was
Hmm.
beige seating, so you can imagine what the back of my car looks like right now. I was always cleaning back there. So I got something with leather, and I wanted something that would obviously qualify for comfort for the next few years. One thing about my Hyundai is that it was a 2018, and so it was downgraded from the comfort
Hmm.
to just being X. And I saw a significant decline in my pay. And so I needed to do something. And so I did some research and was trying to figure out what the best vehicle would be for me. I know a lot of people went to the EVs,
Hmm.
and I actually have a Tesla that I rented on the Turo platform. And I tried that out, but I'm going to be honest, it was standard range. I found myself stopping and charging more often than I liked. I'm in Michigan, so the battery dies just being in the cold.
Yeah.
So I was finding myself charging it quite frequently. So and you don't have the coffee cup in my market with an EV.
Yeah.
So that was a downside for me too. Like I like to be able to pause and then,
Hmm.
drive to an area and restart. And it was like I had to shut it off and then restart. So I decided on the 22 Edge. And, I bought it used, obviously, and
Yeah.
already had to take it to the dealership yesterday for a software upgrade. So, first week I was like, oh no. But with all vehicles, you're going to have that maintenance. And I think that's one of the biggest factors of time that where you're not being paid, where you're spending time, right? Like in the dealership, getting an oil change, getting brakes, and those types of things. So, that is a little bit of a time suck.
Yeah,
But
I think it's the right decision. On the Tesla side though, as you know, both I don't know if in your city Lyft is offering it, but Uber offers EV,
yeah,
bonuses, right, for 200 trips a month in 30 days, which is quite easy for a full-time driver like you to achieve, to get $210. So, what I may suggest is that maybe knock that out, do that 210 in the Tesla, and maybe in the summertime when your battery is not getting drained too fast, and just knock it out with some short trips, get their money, and then switch back to your, ICE car to, go back at your daily business. So give me like a little color on what Crystal's driving day looks like, what hours you drive, and are you a cherry picker, and are you, we call it lovingly, okay?
right,
Don't
right.
hate me, people, okay? And okay. Uh, so which union are you in? Are you in the Cherry Pickers United, or are you in the Ant for Micah United? Where do you belong?
So I'm a little bit of both. It
Okay.
really depends on the day for me. Since I've been doing this now full time for 2 years, I've kind of learned a little bit about when there are good hours to drive
Hmm.
and when you need to cherry pick and when you just need to accept rides because you're in a surge and it'll be good no matter what.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit of both, but I also, I think the perfectionist in me likes to have a good rating. And so I like to
Yeah.
level and so I like to be at least a platinum driver on Uber. And I know that doesn't really mean much, honestly. It doesn't mean anything. But for me in my market, though, it does mean that I get to know at least how far the trip will be and what direction you're going. So that does
Oh.
mean a little bit of something. So on my offer card, I don't know what I'm making up front. I just know how long, I have to drive to the person and then how long the trip will be and in which direction. And that
Oh, so you
direction
don't
will
have you don't have full upfront fares in your city.
no, no. And
Oh, well,
I
actually,
think
you
it,
probably don't want it anyway. Just trust me, you probably don't want it anyway, because with all the algorithmic, games you have to play, it's just more, you have to put more thought into it. So, okay, so you're kind of a hybrid, let's say, we'll call you a hybrid driver.
yeah.
You pick your spots to be a cherry picker, and you pick your spots to just, do what the algo is, sending you. Um, well, obviously, you're an accountant, right? You're good with numbers. You have other businesses that you're in, renting your cars and renting homes, and obviously you've made the correct investments. Someone would ask you, why drive Uber? I mean, you're doing well with the other endeavors. Well, why not continue with accounting?
So honestly, I wanted to get out of the 9 to 5 job. I wanted to
Yeah.
be able to just kind of make my decision. Like today, I'm a morning person. So my typical shift is I definitely work the 4 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
That's, going to be my airport runs mainly and people going to work. So that's a really lucrative time for me. And then if it continues to be busy, I continue to work till about noon. If it dies out, then I'll go back out in the afternoon when you're getting the folks coming home from work. And so I do this honestly to get out of the house. I mean,
Okay.
during the pandemic, I started because I was working from home and recently an empty nester. My daughter moved out. I'm divorced. It's just me and my dog. So I really did it to get out of the house, and it wasn't really a monetary thing for me. That was like a bonus. But then once I was realizing, oh, wow, like I worked a 12-hour shift, I made $400. I was like, well, could this replace my income? And obviously, it took some time to make that decision. But
Hmm.
once I made the decision, I love it. I love that I can work when I want to, you know, busy.
Yeah.
You definitely want to work when it's busy. You don't want to just pick like, oh, I'm going to wake up, at noon and go out there and expect that you're going to make the money that you want to. That's not really realistic. Um, but I liked that I could work. I'm a morning person. I can get up, I can work, and then I can be done for the day if I want to, and I can go out and do what I want. Um, I'm not one to sit at home. I know when I retire, I'm probably going to still have a job because I don't like to sit. I am not
Okay.
one that's going to be at home doing nothing. I'm going to find something else to do. And I love to drive. So this really just really met some personal goals for myself, some personal things that I wanted to accomplish and do. So yeah, that's why I do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there's unequivocally every driver I speak to, flexibility is the number one reason
Absolutely.
for them to drive. I mean, look, there is a glass ceiling in this, as you know, right? You can't do like 50 trips in an hour. I mean, physically, right? There is a glass ceiling, and earnings wise these days, there's a glass ceiling too because of what the algorithms are achieving, right? But again, let's stick with the accounting theme for a minute. We at the Rideshare Guy, we recommend, which we try to educate people in a way that, this is not just driving. This is your small business, okay?
Absolutely.
And you need to know your numbers. Well, you're an accountant. Do you know your numbers? Do you know your cost per mile? Do you know all that stuff? Because, like, let's say you put on your Tucson 270 some thousand miles, you said, right? Well, you know the IRS deduction. Obviously you do your own taxes. So how did you come out? I mean, do you know all these numbers? And I'm hoping you do.
Yes, probably not as well as I should being an accountant. Like I was watching one of your videos. Catherine has spreadsheets, and I was like, that never really dawned on me. But because the reporting that there's not really reporting in the Uber app, you just can
Yeah,
see your weekly, and you kind of
yeah,
have to do your own spreadsheet, which
yeah,
I will probably start doing. But yeah, I do know some of my own numbers. I do know how much I need to make every week in order to make my financial goals, cover the maintenance, cover the gas and for it to make sense. So I need to make $30 an hour in order for this for me to make sense.
okay,
And I know when my car was downgraded to, I couldn't do comfort anymore, that significantly, I could tell the decrease. I was down
yeah,
to like 24 max, 25 max.
yeah,
And that was a little frustrating for me. And so I've watched some of your other videos where veterans are very frustrated because when you get used to a certain pay,
yeah,
and then it gets taken away from you, you're like, well, am I less valuable now? Like, what have I done wrong to not earn, that amount of money? So that was definitely why I upgraded my vehicle. But yes, I definitely take the cost into effect. Like I know every morning I have to fill up my tank. Every day, every day, every other day, I'm running through the car wash, but I have the monthly membership. So I'm
yeah,
not paying for it every month. I know that at least every 3 to 4 weeks, I need an oil change. So that's factored in.
yeah.
And I do have some numbers here if you want me to share with you. Let me
No, I
see.
was just wondering, because there's also the big part that a lot of drivers miss is the depreciation, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, look, an Uber driver or a Lyft driver or any driver, right, doing this full time like yourself, like you said, you put 60, 70,000 miles a year on a car.
Yeah.
That's like for 5 years worth. with a regular person with a W-2. So you have to factor all that in. And you are going to need a car every probably, I don't know, cars are not made like they used to be. Like Hyundais are great, but you're going to need a new car if you keep doing this full time every 3, 4 years. So you need to save some money from your weekly earnings towards that. So that's the problem with a lot of drivers that, they just, I believe, unlike yourself, I think they use their cars like an ATM machine, right? They just suck out the remaining equity out of their car to pay short-term bills, and then 60,000 miles later, they have a broken down car and a broken back. They have nothing to show for it. And I'm like, we tried. That's why I was asking you, do you treat this as a business or do you treat it as a hobby?
Absolutely, as a business, you
Yeah,
have to know your numbers. I know how much I spend every month in gas. I know how much I need to put away for maintenance. I'm already saving for my next vehicle.
yeah,
So I was in a unique position to pay cash for this vehicle, but
yeah,
now I don't have a car payment. So I'm going to be putting away, about $600 a month. And
yeah,
I'm going to assume in about 3 years, I'm going to need a new vehicle.
yeah,
And because I purchased used, I was able to purchase like the extended warranty. So I
yeah.
have a 4-year warranty with unlimited miles.
Great.
So I can get my car fixed, the struts. I think the only thing I need to pay out of pocket for oil changes, brakes, wiper blades, the wear and
Yeah,
tear items. But the big things, you might need control arms. Like
yeah,
those are expensive. You're going to need
yes,
struts eventually. Like those are expensive.
yeah,
So if you're not putting a portion of your income away every single week, day, month, whatever you need to do. So for me, I broke it down to a daily thing. Like, how much do I put in gas every day? Okay, how much in maintenance do I need to put away every day? And I've developed like the envelope system,
mm-hmm,
and I just put money in these envelopes. So when I need an oil change, I'm not charging it on a credit card. I'm not worrying about how am I going to pay for that. I go to my repair and maintenance fund and I pull that money out. Um, and so I treat it most definitely like a business because if you don't, otherwise, yeah, you're going to find yourself at 270,000 miles and you're like, I need a car. Maybe you don't have great credit. Maybe
yeah,
you don't have a down payment. And then your vehicle now is your office. That's how
yeah,
you make your money. That's your business. So you
yeah,
need to keep that up. And I know I've seen a lot of drivers complain about, like, well, I'm not going to keep my car clean because nobody tips, or I'm not going to do this because no, this
yeah,
is still your business. So you treat your business how you want to be treated, basically. You will reap the benefits if you're consistent with it. So keep the air freshener spray, in your car. If you get somebody that smells like smoke or weed, please spray right after, roll your windows down before you get your next passenger, and that's gonna, help you in the long run.
yeah. All the
Um,
common sense things. I mean, I agree with you
yeah,
100%. And obviously, you are good at your numbers. So being a female driver presents its own challenges, obviously, right? I mean, I'm not sure. Do you drive the drunk hours at all, or
not
you
at
try to
all. So
stay away from it?
yeah, I don't do that at all. I completely stay away from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. And then sometimes I might start early because I have an airport pickup, and so I'm logged in and I get a pickup at Deja Vu. Well, I'm going to cancel that ride. Sorry, like I'm not going to pick up a drunk man.
Right.
I'm a woman. I have to be realistic with what I can do and who I am. And so I can say I've had only good experiences, but I limit my areas. So I'm very close to Detroit. Once I drop someone off at the airport, I get a lot of requests to Detroit. Well, I've learned to pause my app now, and I don't go any further east in my direction because I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know the areas. I'm a better driver if I'm familiar with my routes. So I just come back to Ann Arbor or Ypsilanti, and I turn the app back on and I get going.
Yeah.
Um, I've had some situations where someone immediately texts or calls as soon as you accept a ride and they have
Oh,
these requests. Sorry, I'm going to cancel you at that point. I have to
yeah.
keep myself safe.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I do.
I'm
Um,
hoping you have a dash cam.
so I do not, but I will. I know,
Okay,
I've
so
been watching your videos.
I'm going to tell you something, but this is going to run probably on Thursday, which is after. So today we just are going to welcome our new sponsor for Show Me the Money Club. It happens to be Nexar, the best dash cam to the cloud. that uploads to the cloud. So I'm going to interview the CEO today on Show Me the Money. And they're going to have amazing deals for RSG viewers, like 50% off, that kind of thing. So you're going to get yourself a 4K inside outside camera that uploads to the cloud for like $100. So please pay attention to that. I'll send you the link, and then okay, female, male, doesn't matter. You must have a dash cam if you're driving that many hours. Period.
I agree with you. I was using the Uber dash cam.
Nah, it
Um,
doesn't work.
yeah, it wasn't functionally it doesn't work, I don't think, very well. My Apple CarPlay didn't work very well. I couldn't turn up the radio sometimes. It was just very strange, so I stopped using it. But I do think it's important. I do need to do that. So I will definitely
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you actually when after the show, I'll send you the link that you can go. Nexar is the best dash cam, inside outside dash cam. They have all, a few different kinds. So pick your pain and please get one because it's not just about your obviously your safety, right? See, you mentioned something that somebody complained about you that they said you were under the influence. That probably usually takes 72 hours or so that you're losing income on, right? So for you to actually, it increases your earnings to have a dash cam. And the other thing is a deterrent. When they see a dash cam, idiots are not going to act like idiots, period. And
I
the
agree.
best thing about this is, God forbid something happens. What do the bad guys do first? They grab the dash cam to get rid of the evidence. Well, too late because it's already plastered into the cloud. You don't have to mess around with SD cards. You don't have to mess around with any of that. I'm not trying to sell Nexar. I love the system that they have, but so definitely get one of those. Now we have a few minutes remaining. I asked this to everybody that I interviewed. Maybe you've seen it. You know it's coming. So give me two things you love about, well, not love. Let's not go too deep. You like about rideshare, and give me two. By the way, do you do also deliveries or no?
That's how I started, was doing Uber Eats.
Okay.
And then I was really nervous about taking people into my car. So I started with like one, I'm just going to do one and I'm going to see
Yeah.
how I feel afterwards. Now I have absolutely no anxiety about it. But for the person that is a little anxious, I would say just start with one person.
Yeah.
Take one ride because you will get paid, I think, twice as much doing rides than you will
Yeah.
delivery. So I
Yeah.
don't do delivery any longer.
All right. You don't, but then I would say if you have like a dead time with Uber Eats or DoorDash, right? You can, if you're gonna work, because we know everybody's at work, everybody's where they're supposed to be, right? So between, let's say, 9 or 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., rideshare is dead. So instead of doing that, maybe you should just add that to your arsenal to increase your earnings incrementally, because I know you're doing well. So going back to give me two things you like about rideshare and two things you dislike about rideshare. It could be also specifically about companies as well.
So I absolutely love the flexibility. That's why I'm doing it. I
Hmm.
think most people will say that they love that flexibility. If I don't make my goal in a certain amount of hours or the at the certain times, I can go back out and do it. Or if I need extra money, or if my daughter needs something, like the flexibility to work as much as I want is there. Love it. I've also really enjoyed the people.
Yeah.
I'm in a college town, so we get lots of folks visiting from other countries and even the students. So I love picking up the students and just getting
Yeah.
their take on life and what they're doing. So I really enjoy that part as well. Um, Two things I don't like, obviously, the price transparency or your pay transparency.
Yeah.
It's just not there. And at least with Uber, with Lyft, we do get, you know where you're going, the pickup, drop off.
Okay.
They try to tell you how much you're going to make an hour, um, which is helpful, I think, in determining what rides you want to take. So I do like that about Lyft in particular. I wish Uber would do something more with the transparency, though.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do like in Jersey, they don't have the same thing. Lyft shows the destination and Uber doesn't. I mean, we know why it is in Jersey because, people get trips going to the city, and if you're a Jersey driver, you drive into the city, you're not allowed to pick up into the city, so you just need to dead mile back. That's why they don't
Um,
show it. But I don't know why they don't show it in Ann Arbor, the full upfront.
Well, I have noticed, I will just say one little thing, one little caveat is that I've found that people visiting, like somebody coming in from the football game, they're using Uber. Somebody visiting from out of town, they're always using Uber. But folks in town, students, people that live here, mainly use Lyft.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's across the board, but that is what I have noticed in my market. Um, So the not, oh, I really do not like when someone gets in my car smelling funky. So, like, I don't think people are self-aware, and that can be very frustrating because they'll get in, smelling like weed or smoke or even like just food or whatnot. And that is I don't like that.
Yeah,
But
well, don't allow anybody with food in your car. They'll just mess it up, or vape, or things like that. Because
yeah.
people don't respect it. I mean, they're probably treating their own car, when they get in your car. But no, you got to always have your rules straight. You're just like, hey, man, this is my private car. This ain't Uber's car. You need to behave yourself. So, we have a couple of minutes remaining. I'm going to give you the floor. Give us some advice about anything. It could be about life. It could be about attitude. It could be about rideshare. It could be about anything. So you have the floor.
I would just say know your market. I hear a lot of people on, the different, even Reddit, I've been reading some posts on there, and you really need to know your market and what somebody might post might not work for you,
Yep.
or it might be different in your market. So you really need to feel it out. When I first started, I took every single ride. I didn't know any different. So I just took everything. I was like, I'm just out here working. Woo, this is fun. And then I was realizing, oh, you just got paid $1.87 for a ride. And I'm like, that is like that actually hurt my feelings a little bit. And I can't take this stuff personally. It's a company, right? Like Uber
Yeah.
doesn't know you. They're not, I don't really think they're trying to make money too, right? Uber's a business, Lyft is a business. So I would say know your market. Again, keep air freshener with you at all times because that's really going to deter. If somebody does smell like weed and then the next person gets in your car, they're going to think that's you. And then
Yep.
you might get a false complaint. So, you don't want to deal with that. I would also say, yes, keep your car clean. Not just for the passenger, but for yourself. Like
Yeah.
this is you working your business. So show up like you're working your business. Take a shower. Like I know that these seem like common sense things, but I've taken many Ubers myself.
You'd be surprised.
So with my Turo job or, with renting Turo cars, sometimes I deliver to the airport. Well, I have
Yeah.
to take an Uber back home. And oh my goodness, like I've
Yeah.
taken an Uber in July and they don't even turn on the air conditioning. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's 90 degrees outside. Please turn on
Yeah.
the air. Just do some things that will make your passengers feel good, but also you, like shower, dress appropriately. Please don't wear sweatpants. Like that's just not showing that you even care. And you're not going to get the tip. And then I would say read the room. So if
Yeah.
somebody comes in and they seem chatty, be chatty. Like
Yeah.
that's what they're feeling. If they come in and you can tell that maybe their energy is sad or they're upset or maybe they're talking on the phone upset, like just leave them alone. Like drive them to their location. Most people just want to be drove to their location and left alone, to be honest.
Yep.
Um, but be friendly, be open. I have noticed on days when I'm having a bad day, people pick up on that. They do, and I
Absolutely.
see a decline in my tips. I really do.
Yeah.
Um, when you're in a good mood and feeling good, sometimes you can even de-escalate a situation. A passenger might come in upset, but you're in a good mood or playing some good music or making them, hey, is the temperature okay? Like that's a big thing. I wasn't asking that all the time, and then I started getting, like, oh, it's too hot in here. Oh, it's too warm in here. So now I just say, right off the top, like, is
Yeah.
the temperature okay for you? They're only going to be in your car a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Like typically 10, 15 minutes, maybe a half an hour to the airport. Adjust the temperature to what they need. Um, I haven't asked about their radio preference. I don't know. I usually just keep jazz instrumental on at all times. It's low key. I feel like you won't really offend anybody with music that doesn't have words. So and that's what I do. So and I love it. I really do. I don't like the transparency part. I know I was really disappointed having to work, let's say, 50 hours the last few weeks to make my goal. But I could still make my goal. If you're willing to put in the time, you can still do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I
No,
would.
you know what? This is so refreshing because um, having a positive attitude like yourself and treating it like a business is the key to success. Look, rideshare is not rocket science. I'm sure accounting is a lot more complicated than rideshare. And, you're just picking up point A, dropping off point B. Treat everybody the way you want to be treated. and everything should be all right. So here's Crystal from Ann Arbor, Michigan. My hat's off to you. You're doing everything correct. So um, I wish you the best of health, right? I wish you to be safe out there. So that's why you're gonna go get the dash cam, hopefully this week. And we definitely need to keep in touch. And this is why I love what I do. I mean, how am I gonna meet you in the regular world? You know what I mean?
Right.
So this is just awesome. So thank you so much. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing this as well because, I don't even know how I stumbled upon you, but I just stumbled upon you like a couple months ago and watched one of your
YouTube.
videos. Watched one of your videos and I was like, oh my goodness, like I see a lot of people being negative and I just wanted to give a different spin to it because yes, it's still a job, it's still hard. Rideshare is not easy. I don't want to give anybody the idea that this is easy. Um, it's not hard technically. It's not a numbers game like accounting, but it's hard in the fact that, driving, if you have to drive 10 hours, yeah, your back's gonna hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna need to get out and stretch and like do some things for yourself. Have a heated seat. It works as a heating pad. Like just do some of these things that will make it fun. And that's what I've done and I really enjoy it. So thank you for doing this. I loved getting out here and sharing my story. I will definitely tune in tonight. And thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. Much appreciated. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of Behind the Wheel on the Rideshare Guy. We've been doing these interviews for the past 6 months with very successful drivers from different cities around the nation. Click here for another episode. Make sure you subscribe and turn on all notifications for other episodes of Behind the Wheel as well as amazing content on our channel.